Hi there, I'm mindset expert and real estate agent coach Danny Griffin and founder of freethinkingtools.com with this week's Monday Motivation. So why are we so insecure? Why does it seem so difficult to be humble? Why do we work so hard to pump up our egos? Why do so many of us put such a high price on fame, money, or even success? Does any of it really matter? Aren't we all after that state of enlightenment where we transcend all of those life's trivial pursuits? Isn't that really the highest state of being? Well, there's a nice ring to the idea of being able to live in a state of peace and not want for anything materialistic. But unless you're tucked away in a monastery in a very remote, self-sufficient location, you're probably stuck in the grind trying to ascend to at least a less pressured lifestyle. However, that still begs the question of how do you get there? Perhaps you'll need a whole new set of skills. Maybe you'll need just a new perspective. What I've come to realize during my personal pursuit of all of this is that you'll certainly be well served if you can focus upon improving the virtues that guide your life. I remember reading about Ben Franklin's 13 list of virtues that he aspired to each day. He'd actually come home each night and grade himself based on his performance against that standard. Now, history praises the virtuous, or at least those that we believe were in pursuit of becoming better people. While virtues can be debated, they all find roots in the concept of moral excellence, the difference between good and evil. But before we get lost in a cloudy discussion of who determines right or wrong, suffice to say, there seems to be a human consensus that there are traits that serve as the makeup of a nice person. However, how did those people become so darn nice, so put together, so much more in control than the rest of us? Were they just born that way? Did they have nicer parents, better living conditions, or were they all people that had to overcome some great obstacle? To confuse us even further, they seem to come from all walks of life. So, what do they have in common? Humility. That easy? Maybe not. But think about really nice people who seem to have their lives in order. Are they the ones pushing themselves out into the spotlight? Are they the big partiers? Are they obsessive workers? By the way, I'm not really sure who they are myself, but I do know that humble is just an adjective. What I'm in search of is how you really live a life rooted in humility. Let me give you one example of why it could be a life changer. Recently, I've watched somebody close to me try to get sober over the last year. Now, after many bites at the apple, the result has been the same. A slippery slope right back to the starting point. So what's missing? Certainly not desire and determination, and at first blush you'd even argue that this person has been humbled. But you see, that's just it. I know a lot of people that have been humbled by a change in their life circumstances. However, I wonder how many of them really came in touch with their true sense of personal humility. You see, humility is that moment in life when we realize we're just human. We see ourselves for truly what we are, and we accept it and no longer care what anybody else thinks. Now that's a moment of true freedom. It's the time when we realize that vulnerability is not a weakness at all. We finally see that once we can bear our true self to the world, we have achieved the true humility that opens up our potential, and we begin to live a more enlightened life, ready to accept all of our ups and downs head on. Hey, I'm Danny Griffin, the founder of freethinkingtools.com, thanking you for tuning into this version of Monday Motivation, asking you that if you have any thoughts or comments about this, leave them here and I will personally reply to all of them. But more importantly, if you know somebody who could benefit from this message, do me a favor, share it along through your social channels. I would appreciate it. See you next time.